dropped off there. I'm, of course, talking about Classic versus Zest. Do you know what that means, chat? It means we're not going to be able to cast Hero because those are just the rules. Both of them checked in today. So, yeah, we're going to be able to cast one of them, but not the other. That's the laws of the universe.
I'm fine with at least casting one of them because it's been so long, and now the chin toss is back. As you were saying, this is a bit of a grudge match because these two faced off. It went all the way to the ace match in GSL in a best of 5, and now here they are in a best of 3.
That they are kicking things off on Romanticide LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, spotting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the blue Protoss player coming out for the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is, to call him a regular of this tournament is a bit of an understatement. He is Zest.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the returning ex-military player representing Alpha X. It is the chin toss himself. It is Classic.
I can't believe this is straight up the first time I'm ever casting Classic. I love the dude. Absolute chat. Himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's great to have Classic back again, a champion, a legend in his own era. Recently, a month ago, if that, came back to competitive play.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
And already popping up. You know, he took Zest to the ace match in GSL Code A. He's been signing up very regularly for these weekly tournaments. He's been making it pretty decently far in all of them. You know, top 4 in a bunch. I think he made it to the finals of ESL Americas once or twice, or no, just once, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, him and Hero, the two returning Protoss players from the military, really showing that form is temporary and class is forever permanent.
Classic is permanent, mate. Oh god, and we'll see if they can rise to that level, right? This is something that I was saying when they came back, and that is, when it comes to Hero and Classic, the thing that will come most naturally to them and that they will excel at, and I think is probably most likely their best matchup right now, and why Classic versus Zest went to the ace match, is their PvP. Like, mirror matchups have changed the least here over the years, and a lot of their old skills can be applied here, so this is best case scenario for Classic.
Best case scenario is he gets nothing but Protoss, yeah, which actually
yeah,
might happen.
It's true.
It might happen. This is ESL Asia we're talking about.
Yeah, like, the only Zerg player he has to worry about is Bjol and Solar, and they're gonna knock each other out because they're facing each other in the next round.
Pretty much. I mean, he's on the bottom of the bracket? Wait, hold up as I scroll around.
No, they're right next to each other, mate.
Yeah, they're right next to each other. He doesn't have to worry about Cure for a while. So yeah, no other Terran players. Does feel like his PvT has taken a bit of a dip since he was returned, but yeah, as he was saying, it's very likely he doesn't have to worry about that at least until finals. Even then, there's some very strong Protoss players on the other side of the bracket too.
Definitely.
Creator, who won the last 3 ESL Open Cup Asia, is on the other side of the bracket.
Exactly. It's one of those things where here at ESL Open Cup Asia, if you like PvP, well, too bad, because you're going to get it. Like, it's it's nothing but PvP here, regardless of how you feel. Meanwhile, Classic, he goes across the map with these adepts. Oh my god, he forces his way through the first pylon, but a secondary wall gets thrown down immediately.
Yeah, not the biggest of deals right now for Zest. At worst, he loses a little bit of supply.
Yeah, but at the same time, Zest does get into the main base. He actually waddled into the main base because Classic was across the map with his own adepts. Now he's he's losing work after worker.
He's fighting the Stalkers with probes. Why is he fighting the Stalkers with probes?
I mean, his warpin...
suicidal.
Yeah, the warpin was across the map. Also, if I look at the units lost, we missed it. But Classic invested in an Oracle, and it looks like the Oracle went down to those Stalkers. So it did nothing.
That was a Stargate? I guess there is.
Yeah, we were too busy reminiscing about Classic and PvPs. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, Can you blame us?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is a really rough start, especially because Classic is on one base. He's still on one base. You know, he went up, he teched up into that Stargate, and the Oracle did nothing. Now he's committed. Now he's all in.
Oh, he's gotta be. There's no way he can catch up. Zest is on 2 bases. Classic cannot even afford a second base. He needs to do whatever he can with his slightly higher supply, but even then, Zest is continuing to waddle in.
Ugh.
It's another probe. Just like that.
Another probe goes down. Thankfully, Classic was able to plug up that hole fast enough, and now he's across the map with his Stalkers, Adepts, even a probe. He's going to throw down a pylon and a shield battery. Let's go.
May as well at this point. Man, as much as I want to believe that the right control will be able to edge this out for Classic, I do not think he can really fight with the math. Immediately loses a Void Rays, trying to target down that shield battery, and now the Stalkers are falling. GG, Zest takes game number 1 in very convincing fashion at that.
Yeah, GG. That was a very unfortunate game there for Classic. Classic wanted to be the aggressor, but Zest kind of caught him in a really awkward position, right? Where the Adepts were across the map, so they weren't at home to defend. There wasn't an Oracle to defend either because it got picked off, and then the Stalkers just kind of waddled up the ramp, and yeah, that's it. That was it.
Yep. Yeah, it does feel like Zest maybe has figured out a thing or two about how Classic plays here. At least when it comes to this specific Adept opener, right?
Yeah.
Some other Protoss players, you know, they won't cut as many corners as Classic would. They would have a couple of defenses back home. But yeah, Classic didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was. I don't want to call it like a build order loss, but it was just like, you know, Zest was aware of the opener and he was able to abuse it, I think. And really take advantage of Classic there.
Yeah, less of a build order win, more of a I know how to adapt I know how to abuse your build order ?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Look, because to me, like, build order loss or build order win to me is like, okay, I went for this build independently, and it just so happens to counter that build that you're going for independently.
Exactly.
But yeah, that definitely wasn't that. Zest adapted his play based on what he scouted. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our series here on Blackburn LE. Show me some madness here, guys. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He's about to take his opponent's place in the military in a couple of months, but before that, he wants to make sure that his final months count. He is, of course, Zest.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is back. But down in this series, mein Gott. And again, this is a best of 3, not a best of 5. Every map counts. Can he do it? It is the chin toss himself. It is Classic.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he has in store for us on Blackburn specifically. Now, game number 1, Adepts into Stargate. That was a very greedy build, tech-wise. And Zest knew exactly how to counter that, how to adapt to it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Classic doesn't cut as many corners this time.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is that I think a Stargate opener would fare a little bit better on this map. I think it's less likely that your initial Oracle will be caught out in the middle of the map and sniped, for example. So we'll see what happens here. If they decide to go for that route, I imagine Zest is probably going to go into Stalkers again, just because
it's Zest for you.
Yeah, it is Zest.
He likes the Stalker play. He knows his control with Blink Stalkers is better than like 80% of the Protoss players out there, so may as well.
Ooh, very interesting proxy.
Okay then, yeah. Once again, a Stargate coming out from Classic. Not proxying all the way across the map, but on a map like Blackburn, proxying it just outside your base counts as a counts as proxying it across the map.
Yeah, it's a very like big brain move, okay? Because because obviously this probe is in the main base and he doesn't want it to be scouted, right? Like it may as well be in the main, except he keeps it hidden from Zest. That's the big difference. The other thing is Zest is also probably a little bit paranoid because he sees all the gases. He sees, and it has to be used somewhere. He also saw that the third pylon was missing. So it could be something else entirely, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Having saving his minerals for something. Actually gonna be a Void Ray first, not an Oracle?
Oh my god, shield batteries, let's go!
Okay.
Yeah, he's setting up.
You know, he's containing. Zest has to see at least one of the shield batteries, right? Pretty sure.
He does see one. He does see one just barely with the edge of his vision. But is it going to be enough? To be fair, he has his own shield battery. He has a Nexus up and running, so he does have a shield battery overcharge available.
And he will be able to get some Void Rays as well, plus that defender's advantage. Classic knows that. He knows that he has to try to prevent this Void Ray from coming out as best he can, or for as long as he can.
Yeah. And the scary thing is that this Stargate is exposed. Like, he's targeting it down. He wants it.
In his wall, yeah.
Oh my god, the shield battery is just trying to keep it alive. We have prismatic alignment. It looks like the Stargate's going to go down, but the Void Ray finishes just in time.
The Void Ray finishes just in time, but the Void Ray dies just in time. Not only was the Stargate exposed, so was that Void Ray. GG.
Mates.
Classic giving Zest a taste of his own medicine. A little bit.
GG.
I'm into that, yeah.
That was great, mate. What just happened was the Void Ray came out for Zest, and then it was Void Ray versus Void Ray, and Classic's shield battery was supporting his, and Zest's shield battery was still targeting the Stargate instead of the Void Ray.
It was. Plus, you know, there were a couple of stalkers out there for Classic. I actually wasn't sure what they were targeting now, but regardless, there was still a lot more damage on the side of Classic. The stalker of Zest probably would have helped out much, but it was also behind a wall. It wasn't in range to attack any units that Classic had that was actually threatening Zest. What a big brain from Classic. As Petit Drago mentions, you know, we think that it's a big chin, but it's actually just an extension of the man's brain.
Yeah, the brain just really, we think it's in his head, it's in his chin. It's oh god. But yeah, that was an amazing build on a map. Like, it was a great variant as well. It wasn't your typical, like, we've seen Zest do that build on this map that we're loading into, right? Where it's just proxied in the middle of the map.
Right, that's natural, yeah.
Yeah, there was a little bit more to the way that Classic did it.
Yep. A lot better hidden. That's why he is probably the sneakiest ninja of Protoss out there. Even more so than Haas. But regardless, we are going to be concluding our best of 3 series here on Oxide LE. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is looking to, once again, try to restake his claim as the king of ESL Asia. He is Zest.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He has returned and he has tied up the series 1-1, representing Alpha X. It is Classic.
Unrelated, but I like how Classic uses the Adept portrait. Because as every other player in Korea will mention, he is, of course, he may as well be an Adept.
He may as well be. He may as well be. Oh god. Meanwhile, I love what Smile just said in the chat. Smile times. PvP is the worst matchup. Right up until it's the best matchup.
That is the rule, yeah.
Oh god. It's always the best matchup. It's
it's the best of times, it's the worst of times.
Yeah, what I will say is that PvP is great, but for whatever reason, European PvP is like less chaotic. Like,
it's because of Demauer.
Yeah, like they do go to like even the mid game a lot more often.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, even Max Pax has been influenced by Demauer. He's not the, cheesy kid he once was.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think he's an adult yet, but...
Yeah, like Max Pax for a solid year now. We talk about it all the time. He always goes for like greedy openers. Doesn't matter what the map is. As opposed to what we see here in Korea, which is 2 proxies almost next to each other.
Yep. Not quite NA levels of chaotic, but pretty close.
Yep. That's why it's like a great mix of things, you know? Like, you have a matchup that has a lot of potential with players who are ultra aggressive. Like, it's
right.
It's beautiful.
I thought you were about to say you have a matchup with a lot of potential, and then a matchup with no potential. Whoa, I was like, calm down, but yeah.
True. No.
But yeah, it's one of those, like, sayings about StarCraft 2 that isn't entirely accurate. It's, like, very simple. There's a lot more nuance to it, but one of those like basic sayings about StarCraft 2 is like, yeah, if you want to play defensive, play Terran. If you want to play aggressive, play Zerg. If you want to be in the middle, play Protoss, which not entirely true, You have to factor in, like, you can definitely be aggressive as Terran and defensive as Zerg. It's all about playstyle and meta comes in, but generally kind of.
Yeah. The meta obviously has a big influence. Obviously, like, the biggest thing recently, not necessarily on this matchup, but like Turtle Toss is a thing nowadays. It's like,
Tell me about that. Oh my god, both players are going double
I love
double Oracle proxy.
Yo, like, Zest, is he in the chin of Classic right now? Like, what's happening? Because, as you said, both players are going for their Oracles. The big difference is that Zest is waiting for a second Oracle. Classic, he's doing no such thing.
Classic is gonna hit faster, but Zest is gonna hit harder. Or I say that, but Classic is already hammering down the door of Zest with his gateway units.
Yeah, shield battery gets picked off. Nicely done. Now Zest's attention is here at the natural. Meanwhile, Zest was patient, and now that patience is about to pay off as he gets into the main, and there's nothing here.
Yeah, there are not. Those stalkers are across the map. Classic doesn't have a recall just yet. And even if he does, he doesn't quite want to use it. Zest getting a lot of probe kills. So is Classic.
But one of them is...
Classic's bracket's breaking a little bit faster.
Exactly. One of them is doing more damage. As Zest had a shield battery in his main. He had a Stalker as well. Not just one, multiple. And he is able to target down at this Oracle and snipe it. Whoa. Meanwhile, Classic, if you recall, his Stalkers were across the map. And GG gets called.
There we have it. Zest proving that... I don't know, I guess just that Classic has a lot more to relearn when it comes to instinct and game sense. Because that's really what it came down to. And with that, Classic is now ringing up Hero and telling him, yo, never let the CranKy Ducklings cast you, like, ever. They will cost you the series.
Oh my god.
There's a reason why we did well when they didn't cast us.
Did they though?
They made it to like top 4s.
Oh god. GG, well played. Congratulations to Zest, and as you said, there was a bit of a, I think the biggest difference there was Classic, his natural base was actually faster. He went for a faster Nexus, whereas Zest, he was actually investing those resources in shield batteries, right? And
shield
it's
batteries, faster warp gate.
Yeah, and instead just keeping his Stalkers at home, being a little bit more defensive, well, defensive with one hand and aggressive with the other, right? Instead of Classic just trying to send everything across the map, you know?
Now see, that's the thing. Classic hasn't been back for too long. Zest has been here all the time. He plays a lot of ESL Americas. He knows the age-old NA saying, why would you ever get an expansion in PvP? And he's punishing Classic for that. Classic wasn't aware of the age-old folk saying in NA.
He wasn't aware. He didn't know, mate. Didn't know.
Shaking my head, Classic.